Hi everyone, I'm Joe Santacruz, Assistant Director in the Office of Career Services at Salem State University. Welcome to our Career Connection series where we bring in experts to talk about different career topics. Today's topic is going to be focusing on virtual networking given the circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our first guest today is Corey Whalen. Corey, for the past 8 years, has been part of the Commonwealth's Career Center system as a senior career counselor, a workshop designer and facilitator, and a resume go-to leader. Corey also has a private practice of career coaching. Her love of coaching, teaching, and guiding has always been part of her life. Corporate mentoring plus 30 years of coaching and training athletes and instructors has really helped to hone a skill set that's adaptable to all learners. Corey, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited to do this.
Excellent. So today's topic is, again, virtual networking. So I'll pose the questions to you. Where do students start with this? Where do they go to look for networking opportunities? How do you overcome that fear? And then, of course, how does someone stand out from the crowd?
Well, actually, people have already started. Because of the pandemic, if you want to look at it as a silver lining, people have been using technology to connect with people because they can't be with them. And it's expanded into reaching out to people that they've lost connection with. So they're reconnecting with friends, with family, former coworkers, and people have elevated their technology. People who never did a Zoom thing in their life are now doing Zoom because it's better to see someone's face. That's really the connection. You can talk to them, text them, email them, but virtual networking, you can get the body language, you can read their lips, you can see the expressions on their face. So things like FaceTime and Zoom and Skype have become increasingly more important, not just for business, but for social interactions. And in connecting with other people, this is such a wonderful opportunity. People are so comfortable with doing this now that it's a wonderful opportunity for them to go and actually talk to people about their job search. So you do this naturally anyhow. When you see someone who's got a cool haircut or a neat pair of sneakers, or you like their top, you ask them, hey, where'd you get that? Who do you go to for a barber or a hairstylist? We have no problems asking for things like that. All you need to do now is turn it into asking about who do you know in this company? How can I get connected? And I think people forget that it's not just current employees that can connect you inside a company. There are the friends and family of that person, former employees and their friends and family, board of director members, vendors, clients, customers. All of them have a connection into the company or the organization that you're interested in. So by asking people, who do you know that's connected to that company? It's a wonderful way to get in. And the thing is that when you start connecting with people for a job search, you have to let them know about you. You have to sort of have a little personal commercial. You just introduce yourself. You say, I'm a recent graduate, or I'm in this program and I really love it because, and this is the kind of place that I'd like to go work. Small, medium, large company, for-profit, not-for-profit, whatever it is. Say it with enthusiasm, like you're proud to take this next step. Put a good smile on your face, because I think the handshake is out for a while. And just tell people. But the other side of that is you have to be a good listener. You have to create a dialogue with people. So you ask the person you're speaking with, so how did you get interested in this kind of work? Where do you see the trend in the industry going? Who else do you think I should be speaking with? So you create this kind of dialogue so that, because networking is a two-way street. It's a two-way street. If just because you're out there today looking for information or a connection, you might not get what you want today, but you may be helping somebody else. And I kind of think what goes around comes around. So your openness and willingness to listen and share what you know could help someone else, and they'll remember that, and maybe they'll pass it on to someone else, and maybe they'll pass it back to you. But you have to remember that building relationships rather than just looking for a connection for what you want, will open up pathways to your goals. So I think, as far as the fear, I think a lot of people have gotten over it because they've been doing this now because of the pandemic. Just be yourself, be honest, be prepared. That is the biggest thing in conquering fear of doing networking. If you have that whole little script made up and you're comfortable saying it, you're comfortable presenting yourself, confidence comes from being prepared. And people will appreciate that. You'll get used to it. It's once you do it, and practice it with your friends and family first. Make sure they know how to advocate for you out there. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just stay open, listen well, do your homework, smile, be genuine, be prepared. You'll get there.
Agreed. Listen, we really appreciate you taking the time today to have a conversation with us and offer some advice. I know our students certainly appreciate it. And hopefully we'll have you back again as a guest on a future episode.
Thank you. I'd love to.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day, okay? We appreciate Corey's time and her sharing her information with us today. Our next guest, we're going to bring Scott Swedberg into the conversation. Scott is the founder and CEO of the Job Sauce, a career services company that has helped tens of thousands of professionals land jobs they love. A former recruiter, hiring manager, and LinkedIn employee, Scott started the job search to make a more direct impact on people's lives. Scott, thanks so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be here, Joe.
Awesome. So the questions I have for you, the topic is around virtual networking. Where can students start with this? Where do they go to look for opportunities? How do you overcome the fear? And then, of course, how can they stand out from the crowd?
So the best place to start is with your friends and family and Salem State alumni. Think about the people in your life right now who want to see you succeed and have some idea of who you are professionally. It could be as simple as friends who graduated a couple of years before you who are working in a job that you want, or your friends' parents. The place to start is understanding what your network truly looks like and how you might be able to use that. Because at the end of the day, what networking really comes down to is someone at a company where you want to work is just passing along your resume saying, hey, you should take a real look at Joe. That's it. And that simple action alone can drastically increase your odds of landing the job, certainly to get the interview, especially when you think about what's going on right now. How many people are unemployed and looking for work and how few companies are posting jobs. There are a lot of people applying for few jobs. And that's a lot for companies to deal with. So if you can be the one who is referred by someone who is just working there, never mind if they're a trusted employee, that company is at least going to take a look at you. So you want to start with understanding your network. The easiest place to have all that happen is in a LinkedIn profile because it's essentially your searchable Rolodex. So that is the easiest place to do it. But it could just start with writing down all the people in your life who you think would want to help you and have any idea what you're like professionally. Again, friends, family, professors, former bosses, any of those kinds of people are a great place to start. And as you expand from that, other Salem State alumni are a good place to look, just to reach out and say that you're graduating or you're looking for a job and you'd love to be able to pick their brain about their job because it's interesting to you and it seems like they're successful, so you'd love to get their advice. If you can get on a 15-minute phone call with someone like that, ask them good questions and ask them what they'd do if they were in your shoes, most people are going to want to help. So that's the place that I would recommend that you start. Start with those people who are currently in your network. Don't overthink it. It doesn't need to be the perfect person. Anyone passing along your resume is going to significantly increase your odds. Last I checked, on average, something like you're 3.5 times more likely to get an interview if you were referred, and 10 times more likely to land the job if you were referred than if you applied online. So that's where to start. But a lot of people are worried about what might happen. They're worried about putting themselves out there. And for people who are in this position, and it depends specifically what they're worried about. But usually what I recommend is that someone really think about what is the worst that could happen. Truly, what is the worst thing that could likely happen? There's a good TED Talk by Tim Ferriss about fear setting. And it's all about looking at what is the worst case scenario here. And then looking at, okay, how realistic is it that that kind of thing happens? Because sure, you might say, oh, the worst case scenario of me doing anything is, a meteor comes and hits the earth and we're all dead. But how likely is it that that's going to happen? How much control do you have over that? Very, very little. Really, the worst that I've seen happen is somebody says, no, sorry, I don't have the time. More often, you just don't get a response. And, it's important to expect that and to know how to handle that well, because that kind of rejection can be unfortunate and difficult. But most people, if they have the capacity, especially if they're already employed, they want to help. Really, the worst case scenario is someone says no or they don't respond. So tackling that mentally is a good first step. And then it's just a matter of getting the first one done. Start with those friends and family members who it's not a big deal to talk to them about this. It wouldn't be weird for you to send them a text and say, hey, can we jump on a quick call? Or if you just, give them a call out of the blue, having this conversation and practicing it is going to go a long way in helping you overcome that fear of networking with people you don't know. Because eventually you may want to go beyond people that you know and are comfortable with to people that they know. That if a good friend of yours knows someone who works at a company that you want to work at, but you haven't met that person before, they can very easily make that introduction. You can have that conversation. But if you've got a fear of doing that, start with thinking about what is the worst case scenario really, practice with friends and family. And then when you're ready to move on beyond that immediate network, knowing that you've already practiced this, as long as you show up to the call on time, are grateful for their time and ask good questions, they're going to be happy they got on the phone with you. So as far as what it takes to stand out from the crowd, a lot of times people think about who they are or what they do in terms of the general, that they have a certain degree, that they went to a certain university, or they worked in certain jobs. And a lot of people overlook the things that are unique about them, their unique contributions and accomplishments. So one thing that my company regularly does, especially if we're working with people on the resume side of things, is we'll look at every single responsibility that they have in a given job and ask the question, how do we explain your ability to do that job? What are special projects that you worked on? What got you most excited? Something specific and at least slightly unique, something that goes beyond the job description, something that if it was just in a job title, or that you wouldn't get from just looking at a job title. And when you can look at those unique contributions and accomplishments and really lean into that, I find that you stand out from the crowd much more naturally than trying to manufacture something. If you can find someone working on the same problem that you've worked on, someone who researched the same stuff, something that you find interesting, and try to go do that first and foremost, you're already going to stand out from the crowd. And a lot of people try to think, okay, what if I make my resume look, more colorful and fancier? What if I, change the formatting up? And ultimately, that's not the best way to stand out from the crowd. The best way to stand out is to find out, how do you already stand out, and then amplify that. So look at what you've done that's unique, projects you've worked on, things you do on the side, things that are most interesting to you that you're passionate about. Usually those are things that you're also pretty good at because you've invested that extra time and energy in learning about that subject or working on that project. And then go find employers, individuals, anyone who sees that same kind of value in working on those projects, because they're going to want to talk to you about it. because if they want to solve that problem and you've worked on solving that problem, they can probably see that you can add value there. And ultimately, that's why people hire people, because they can add more value than one person alone.
Agreed. Scott, thanks so much for the time today. We really appreciate all the insight. And
yeah, happy to be on.
Hopefully we'll have you back for a future episode.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Joe.
Okay, thanks. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thanks for watching our Career Connection series. If you'd like to further the conversation, please go ahead and do so via an appointment with one of the counselors in our office. To schedule an appointment, you can schedule through your Handshake account. Call us at 978-542-6406 or email career@salemstate.edu. Check out our resources on our website, salemstate.edu/careers, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.